Do they have a post office?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's
Mosby, Montana has a post office, and that's smaller than Winnett.
I mean, that's what matters most is there a post office.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. Montana. Clink.
Clink, click, clack.
How's it going there, guy? How have you been?
Oh, another day in paradise. Can't complain. Really can't.
Good. Good. I'm glad. You
Yeah.
know, we're too blessed to be on this beautiful earth to complain about it. So let's just make the most of it. So I hear you just got back from a little falling down some water or something.
Yeah, they say don't go chasing waterfalls, but you know what? I did. I went chasing waterfalls.
Yeah.
I haven't gone through the photos yet, but I went to the wonderful state park in Oregon known as Silver Falls. Um, it's super
Yeah.
cool.
I
Um,
like I like Silver Falls. I mean, I didn't realize when we were kids, our parents and grandparents used to take us there all the time,
yeah, I
and
was
like
just gonna ask, have you been?
tons of times,
Yeah,
like yeah,
yeah, no, I've been tons of times as well, or not tons. I've been like 4 or 5 times. Um,
that's tons in waterfall land.
I mean, shoot, there are a lot of waterfalls on that hike. It's crazy how many waterfalls.
Well, and isn't there a time of year that it's like really good time to go there?
Yeah, when the runoff, so you get all the water.
Yeah, the spring, right?
Yeah, I'd say the spring, because everything's melting, so there's more water in the rivers, so therefore the waterfalls are going to be a little bit bigger and more powerful, which is cool to see.
Yeah, no, I really like it. I really like the one where you're kind of in that cave
Yeah.
and you outlook it. It's just like right there, and there's this big waterfall coming down on you, and you can take all these cool pictures and just enjoy it for what it is. And
Yeah, there's a couple waterfalls you can like go under, which is really cool. There's one you can go really far back in, and like they got benches and stuff. Like it's kind of cool to just hang out. But then they got others where it's like stick your hand out and or even stick your head over, and you can get a little shower going for you. So
yeah,
yeah, and then I mean, it's really nice state park just overall. I mean, kind of anybody can do it.
yeah, that's what I like about it. I have not been there in quite some time now thinking about it, but it's real easy to get to too.
Yeah.
Right off I-5, not too far at all. Beautiful.
Yeah, no, it is.
It's just a pretty
I
cool
mean,
place.
I kind of spent a weekend there. I stayed in Silverton
Hmm.
there, which I mean, it's literally like you just get on a road and you stay on it, and you're gonna hit it from Silverton. So it's not hard to get to at all. And there's multiple. There's a bigger parking lot. That then they have like the big loop there. But I mean, they have a shorter loop. You can just do little parts, see a couple waterfalls. You can do whatever you really want there. Um, and even doing the big loop, you're kind of just spending, start at 10, you'll get done at like, I don't know, like 2, 3. I mean, it's not like crazy long. And 2,
No,
3,
it's
I think
not.
is even being a little conservative with it.
You're just spending on 2 or 3. I think you're saying you're spending a little extra time at the waterfalls and taking it all
Yeah.
in for what it is. Yeah. No, I really like it. It's a cool spot. I myself wasn't chasing any waterfalls out here. It's too cold for
That's what
that.
the song says though. Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Well, up here they freeze. So I
What
think
do you have snow right now?
not out on eastern Montana yet, but I mean, I was just out in Oregon and I came back and we stayed in Sealy and drove through Idaho. And yeah, it was a blizzard. There was snow on the ground. I actually almost ran into a herd of about 50 to 75 elk crossing the road. You know
Jeez.
where that big cow is, right on the Clearwater Junction?
Yeah.
Right there, man. Going right when you turn up to Zealand, just a bunch of elk running right there into the fields. It's beautiful, cool area to see them.
Yeah. Was it really snowy up in Sealy?
I think we were there the night the blizzard was happening, because
Ah,
when in the morning there was only like 2-3 inches of snow. It wasn't like a lot for that area. But Sealy in the snow is a beautiful place. The lakes were all starting to freeze over. Um, it's just quiet and just peaceful and beautiful.
I can imagine. Yeah, I've only ever been there in the summer, but I can imagine the snow. It's pretty neat.
Well, I think the thing is people like their cabin because it's like I can go outside and do activities, and not a lot of people like doing the winter activities. Sealy is one of those towns where in the winter, snowmobile is probably the primary vehicle of travel around there. And just some stuff like that where you need to be into that. If you like fishing but you don't like ice fishing, it's not really that time of year for you. Or
Yeah.
people horseshoe, they hike.
Have
But
you
yes.
ever ice fished?
Oh yeah, I mean it sucks. I've never honestly I've never caught in anything ice fishing
Really?
ever.
I've always been. That's like the one fishing I'm willing to try.
You can come out here this winter and we'll make it happen. It actually, when this episode airs, it will be winter, so come out now. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm serious, man. I mean, Sealy, it's fun because what I've always wanted to do ice fishing is spearing.
Oh yeah.
So you sit there, you're in the ice hut or sitting on the ice, and you have a little decoy that sits below the ice hole and kind of looks like a real fish. And these other fish will swim by. And usually the bigger fish this is the time of year you really see the bigger fish because they're more active. In regards to the little ones, they're conserving energy under the ice. So you get these really big pike, and that's what you're doing it for. You sit there with like this spear, man. You just drop it right when the thing gets under there and hit him in the back and pull it up.
How heavy is this spear?
Oh, like probably like 20 pounds.
Oh, okay.
You're just
I was
boom.
imagining, like a
Oh, it's like
javelin-esque spear where you have to put some oomph to it.
no, it's like a trident, like a big old fork, just boom.
we got Aquaman out there in the swing to stab him.
Right. No, but that's I mean, ice fishing, it's fun. I've never caught anything, I've done it quite a few times. I've probably gone ice fishing on Sealy 3 or 4. I've gone out to Cooney, which is right by me, probably a good 5-10 times.
Wow.
And Deadmans Basin, that's where I invented cooler sledding, because it gets so windy out there. We'd sit on the cooler and the wind would blow us across the ice. Deadman's is an interesting kind of lake too, because you have the like in the summer it gets real fucking hot there. So, it just feels hot. It's not pretty. It's out in the middle of like a flat nowhere land. It's a reservoir. I mean, we've seen rattlesnakes swim across this lake, and you don't want them because they'll jump in the boat. They'll climb up like where the motor is and get in that way. Actually, Josh and Gerald had that happen to them when he was fishing up in Fort Peck like 2 summers ago.
They had a rattler.
He got in the in the like engine bay of like where your boat is on the motor.
Pass.
And then they were like fighting it with the net because it was just like, oh my god, because he was like, let's drive up to it to see what it'll do.
Yeah, well, I guess you do it once. That's all you got to do it.
With that, I mean, that's living out here in Montana, where it's the outdoor land. And I mean, just last week I had the privilege of going hunting with, the chairman and my, cousin and whatnot. It was such a good time. It was fun. You wake up so goddamn early because we live in it. We live in the nature. And, I wake up 4 a.m. I'm excited.
Where did you go out there?
It's I think it's the smallest populous county in Montana.
Yeah, populated.
Yeah, I think so. It's called Winnett, Montana.
Yeah.
I think it closed down, but it was a restaurant there, their little cafe kind of thing.
Do they have a post office?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's
Mosby, Montana has a post office, and that's smaller than Winnett.
I mean, that's what matters most is their post office.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Montana, there's post office everywhere.
Post office are everywhere, man.
That's how you determine a city.
Yeah. Well,
township.
Yeah, I don't know. An inhabited area.
of a collected group of people.
Yeah. That's how you know you're a legit thing.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, there's a town called Mosby, Montana, and the post office is the only building.
See, still legit.
But and that's not too far from Winnett. Winnett, no, there's like a little cafe. They sell pies like worldwide. They're known for it.
Really?
Yeah, and there's a little grocery store, and there's a lake called Petroleum Lake where you can go catch pike, walleye, and perch. But I mean, you wake up so goddamn early to get up there because we want to be up there right as sun rising because that's when you can first hunt, but the deer are still active. And I mean, beautiful sunrise. I'm talking the pinks, the purples, the oranges and reds were just like, they were magnificent, like bright, vibrant colors all across these clouds. It was just like, oh my God. And that's the one thing I really appreciate growing up here was being able to hunt and be up so early in the morning in the fall. Because I think it's something to do with that cooler air that really makes those sunrises and sunsets just that much more beautiful.
I mean, I love the morning. I wake up early, so I love the morning. So you don't have to convince me that the morning's a special time.
Oh, I love it. I mean, we're up there, we're watching these deer, we're having a good time. There's a little area we like to call Trophy Alley where, I mean, I'll take you there sometime and show you, these are wall hangers for people. The deer that you see and you walk in a barn, it's sitting outside the wall. Yeah, that big. That's where they come from.
Yeah, but weren't you saying you can't hunt them?
Yeah, because the way the district works.
Yeah.
I think that's why they grow so big up there.
Oh, very well. Very well.
But yeah, no, it's the way the district is labeled. You have to get like a special tag. To hunt them. But yeah, no, I mean, there's some good whitetails too, which you can hunt in that area.
Okay.
Yeah, you can hunt mule deer, whitetail out here in Montana. It's pretty great. But also, I mean, we've seen elk in this area. I'm talking beautiful bulls, like 6-point, like the two we saw in Yellowstone.
Oh, yeah.
But it's another, for elk, you have to special tag it. So it's a lot harder to get. So you see a lot more. You see like these beautiful herds. I mean, we came across a herd of probably 100, 150 bull elk just sitting in this farmer's field. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I love it.
Around here, you can always tell when it's elk season because the elk come into town.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah. Every year because we're about in elk season right now for rifle, bows a little bit earlier, but they're all hanging out in towns now. There's some little old town right on the coast that, like, I heard there was elk there, and I'm like, how the hell? What?
I mean, we had a moose in downtown Billings once.
Yeah, so, they're smart. They're smart little buggers.
Oh, we're no different. We're animals, they just, they're growing at their own rate, or they're doing their own thing for their own survival.
Mm-hmm.
But no,
what was it? Last time we were on with Sunny, and I mentioned that really old skeleton.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, I had no idea about this until after we did that podcast, but there's a book about it and like how they came about.
Mm-hmm.
I just bought it. I started it, but it's super cool. One thing it talks about like Ethiopia a lot.
Okay.
Holy cats, man. Ethiopia.
Oh, yeah.
They go through some shit. They've been through some shit.
It's also a really beautiful country.
Yeah, no, I got that. But
let's go.
A lot of this story was like that I'm in thus far is like taking place in like the 80s, 70s, 80s. You know, that's like the height of Cold War action and all that stuff. So they're talking, you know, regimes, and like you got people getting shot and killed, afraid for their life. One guy who's a scientist spent like 9 years in a labor camp where they like had, you're chained to like the same 7 people the whole time. Out of the
Wow,
7 people, 2 of them survived at the end.
that's sad.
Right? Yeah.
That's just, oh, I hate that. I hate that like there are still places with that is like that in this world. And there's just, I mean, we need to do everything it takes to change that, you know. And I really like, it's nuts to think about that, you know. Yeah, me and you can sit here on Zoom, record a podcast for people to listen to, and we appreciate you guys. Thank you, our wanderers, as Mark likes to call them. He goes, yeah, I've been watching that wanderer following rise. Okay, bud. No, I love it. You know, you guys are our friends, our family, our wanderers, and we just, everyone, if when we come together and we do good things, you know, and we appreciate you listening, and we need to talk about stuff like that because it is going on. You know, there are places on this world, you know, they can't have this same freedom or access like we do. And that's kind of sad. And I do think that there are places where it might even be the United States' fault that that kind of treatment is happening, such as like the Middle East and other different places where the governments run the way they are, and it creates that tension and that hate. And you know, we just need to sometimes take a step back and look at like what we're doing and making sure, you know, we're treating everyone like they're human. And I think the world's moving at that pace. Yeah, there's places behind, but you know, we gotta.
ELE.
Yeah,
Everybody love everybody.
I know.
There's
I
really
just,
no reason when you really dive deep, you step back and you really look at any situation, right? We're all human and we all just want to be happy. Sure, they may go about it differently, but their goal's still the same. We
mhm.
want to be happy.
Yeah.
And we're all human. That's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was talking to Matt Buddy earlier today. Talk about him a lot, I've noticed. Great guy. If you guys ever want to contact him, just email us at wanderingwayspodcast@gmail.com. We'll give you whatever contact you need for Matt Buddy. He'll answer your question.
Or
Um,
check him out at Lakota Thunder 82 on Instagram.
right? No, but I was talking to him today, and we just,
Reverend Marcus here. Before we get going with today's episode, I want to let all of you beautiful people know that we here at Wandering Ways have a new apparel line out. Yes, I know we're that big now. We've partnered up with the people at Teespring to put out our design on some shirts, from short sleeve, long sleeve sweatshirts to tank tops. We even got socks out there. So if you want to get your hands on some of this cool apparel and support the podcast here, check us out at teesprings.com/stores/wandering ways. That's teespring.com/stores/wandering ways. Go ahead, check it out, get yourself something nice, or get someone else something nice for them as a little, hey, how you doing? But anyways, check it out, teespring.com/stores/wandering ways.
all right. I was talking to Matt Buddy and a lot about respect. And I think that's one thing with like us native people, you know, I look at, you know, native communities out on the plains and other native communities, like in urban settings and areas, you know, where the upbringings of like, you know, like when like the tribes closer to Portland have more of a liberal influence on their governments because of how they govern and the way they work with the state because of how the state governs, versus like the tribes out in like South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, you know, more conservative states that are more conservative with issues, and you see that within native culture, with the way they govern themselves and whatnot. But you see a lot more respect for one another. Of you see really see I'm going to judge you based on who you are as a person, not as this, that, whatever. Like the label doesn't matter. I care if you respect me and I respect you. And that kind of relates back to the point that we were talking about with like just everybody love everybody, and
Yeah.
like just like respect one another. You have your beliefs for this reason or that reason. I have my beliefs for that reason. But like you said, we all want to live longer. We all want to be happy, but in our own ways. But it's the common goal for everyone around. We just don't realize it because we also get caught up in our own selfish ways sometimes.
Yeah, no, I mean, we for sure definitely do have that kind of I don't know what it is really, but when you really like dive deep into it and how it goes, um it really it's everyone's the same. Everyone really is the same. We're all human, and we all want to be happy. Um and I think there's better ways of being happy, or there's ways people think that they're being happy or think that happiness is whatever it is. But depending on the situation with the person, I don't necessarily think so. It might be a pleasure, but a pleasure is not happiness. A pleasure is just a temporary feeling that raises your level of like joy and all that. But take it away, does your happiness go away? So
I get what you're saying. And it really, to me, what separates us from the animal kingdom, as mammalia, mammals. Um, and I think it's the fact that we have some sort of knowledge that we think we have as a group, as a species.
no, I think that the one thing that separates humans from the other species of the whatever species, insects,
Yeah, yeah.
birds, fish, whatever, humans are the only thing really trying to figure out like why we're here.
So essentially, yes, yeah, agreed. The why, and I think that's part of like our knowledge of existence. The fact that the way we act, why we think we're superior to these other species, uh, is that destined for the why, the who, our purpose. And I look at, and I've talked about this before, where I've said I look at the Bible more as a history book, because there's a reason a bunch of men and a bunch of people wanted to record this information and these stories and these parables and these teachings. you know I believe it's more of a moral code, as well as there's a little bit of history to the context of the stories. It's thousands and thousands of years of interpretations and translations. But when you look at the root stories and you look at like the creation stories and you compare them with other creation stories, you compare them with like native creation stories, and how everything once lived together in this Eden, or in this world where man walked with animals side by side, and this and that. And then all of a sudden there's this disconnect, whatever that disconnect may be, in that culture story. To me, is that quest for knowledge, and that almost quest for greed, and who we are as people.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Where I would rebuttal for like you in that argument is I don't necessarily think we need to figure out necessarily why or like how we got here, or like in that sense. Honestly, it really doesn't matter if you like say believe in God, or if you're Muslim or Judaism, or you have a creator, or if you're Buddhist, right? That's just, those are just excellent ways to help you understand why something may be happening, right? You'll hear every athlete at end of a game or something, they just scored a game-winning touchdown, hit a game-winning basket, you name it, right? They're going to sit there and say, oh, thank God it was in his plan, everything. And even when they're at the lowest point, a lot of these people have that faith that, yeah, you're in a shitty time, but it's still a part of like God's plan, all of that, whatever your higher level of being is, it's that plan. Even if you go like with the Buddhist route, a lot of Buddhists believe in the reincarnation and the karma. So when they're at the highs of things, it's a payback of the good karma they have. Or if they're in the low, it's the bad karma. So it's not necessarily, I think we spend too much time in like, okay, this person's how we got here. We all need to understand that's how we got here, instead of just letting that be for why we're living this way.
No, I totally get it, and I think you're right, because you look at the history, you look at a lot of wars were started because I just disagree with how you believe, because I believe this is right and that's wrong, and it's not necessarily the what, we're so focused on the what, but it's the deeper meaning of the why, of like, what's the intention of this story, of this teaching, of me keeping this history? What's the intention of it? Is it to repeat it, or is it to learn from it, or is it to grow? And I think that's that makes us interesting as people too, because we do such weird things, and to me those weird things, why stick a monolith in the middle of the desert?
I was actually just gonna bring that up.
You know what I mean, though, right? Like, why stick it in the middle of nowhere? And tell nobody, do nothing. What's the purpose? Is it a study? Is it this? Are you trying to get information from somewhere else? And the conversation it starts and it brings, and the good, the bad, the ugly,
Yeah, no, 100%. It's just a random thing. Not everything, not everything can and needs to be that monolith. At the time we're recording this, nobody knows who put it in Utah was the first place it was found, or why they put it there. Just some state workers were in a helicopter counting livestock, counting sheep. They were like, what the heck is that? Landed the helicopter, boom, they found a monolith. So then it was there in Utah for a while.
I would say a couple days, I believe.
I think it was longer than that. But I mean, like Horseshoe Bend, social media world, people grab hold of it and people flock. It's, it's ironic that the monolith is also a little bit shiny, but people love shiny objects. They flock to the shiny objects. And this is the part, they do understand. So, okay, if anyone doesn't know the monolith story, found in Utah, they don't know why. It disappeared. They figured out who took that down in Utah. We'll get to that in a sec. But then, like, within 24 hours, pops up in Romania.
Okay, this is what I don't get, right? You're saying within 24 hours, it pops up in Romania. Is that a copycatter?
It's distinctively different, You can like look at the monolith that was in Romania. Like, sure, general shape, size was the same, but when you go, like, the Utah one was pretty shiny, whereas the Romania one wasn't as shiny.
Yeah, so it was probably a copycat.
I don't know. It goes down in Romania, right? pops up in California.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it. I totally get that there's something going on here. But my question is the why, the who, the what, the where, when, how, like what's the purpose behind this? Is it just to see how many people will flock to these shiny objects? Is it just to, say, here, check it out. Something I did that, or
Yeah. It could be. I've seen people say that it's, they're like, can't wait to see the ad campaign for whatever this product is. And then, there's people that are just aliens, or like, because there's a movie where there's a monolith that looks very similar and it has aliens and stuff in it. And then, it could be just an art installation. The old joke on like any college campus is you'll see like a tree teepeed in the quad, and people will be like, why did someone teepee it? And someone will go, no, that's my art final.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So it really could be an array of things. The one thing we do know for the most part as of right now is when they took it down in Utah, it was like 4 guys, and they're like slackliners. So, and when I mean slackliners, I'm not talking about, again, college campus where it's the 2 trees and they just have the slack line, they're having fun. Like, no, these are the guys that climb up the mountains and have the giant ass slack lines. They go and walk across where, if you fall, it's not just like oh, I've hit the ground. It's like a kind of deal. These guys are like legit, but their reasoning behind it, I think, is very admirable. They realized that this thing brought a lot of attention, in that they didn't like what the people were doing to the land, because it was out in the middle of some BLM land, and people are gross, and unlike Woodsy the owl, they leave a trace.
Yeah. Be a hoot, don't pollute.
Yeah, So
No, I totally get what you're saying, because I really, like, to me, I get their reasoning. I understand their reasoning too, because that's why when I first said, are those other monoliths copycats? Because you do get copycatters, right? Now it's going to be, oh, look at my picture at Angel's Landing of whatever fucking beach ball, right? Like, let's just say that's the next big art installation or monolith in the desert, right? Is people doing that, and it's like, our national parks aren't a playground in that sense.
Well, again, the BLM land, and then I don't know about the California one. I don't think it's not in a national park, and I don't know if it's a state park either.
Well, okay, you're right, because that does make a difference, because BLM land is land that is designated to drive your car over, do this to it, you can do that to it. It's more accessible in that sense. But I just, like I said, like, it becomes beach balls, and then those beach balls blow away, and it becomes litter, and that kind of defeats the purpose of having places like this, because it, that just over time will destroy it. The more and more people come, then people stop going there, because it's disgusting. And it really makes us need to be smart people when it comes to our outdoor areas, and really, don't throw your napkins on the ground. Don't don't take the straw if you have to have the straw. Don't take the extra plastic. Don't, it's the little things that, we can do as a society, because if we all do the little things, it adds up, and just with anything, you sell 1,000 things for 10 cents, you're making a lot more money than selling, one thing for $1,000, the way it adds up, the time it happens, it's like, make it happen. Just if I can say I can stop using 5 straws a week, and you can stop using 5 straws a week, that's 10 straws right there. And if Matt Buddy can do it, that's 15. It's like, look, that starts adding up. It's like, wow, that's 2, 3, 4, 5 packs a week that
Yeah.
you're seeing. And
I saw something, and shoot, I don't know if it was a podcast or if I was watching the news, or I don't know what it was, but this they said, like, this is going off climate change, but climate change isn't going to be like one thing fixes it. It's going to be like a million or a billion small things that get it done.
well, yeah, as it should be, because if you look at any picture, and they always say look at the whole picture, think outside the box, right?
Um,
Because we need to look at things from that holistic lens, and I've talked about that before too as well. Because if I asked you to draw a picture of a tree, and ask Tyler to draw a picture of a tree, and ask Matt to draw a picture of a tree, you guys could draw different trees. You might draw a pine tree, Matt might draw brown stem bubble kind of cloud treetop, and Tyler might draw an aspen. And those are all trees, but they're
yeah.
three different trees, and everyone understands the world in that sense. So it's like, well, if you can cut back on the salmon fishing for 3 extra weeks a year so that they can repopulate even that much more, if you can do this for, you know, to limit your plastic consumption, if you can do this over here to limit your gasoline consumption, we're going to see the effect. And I
Yeah.
mean, we already got a tease of that with COVID when people were shutting down factories and shutting down this and that, and the way like our atmosphere bounced back a lot better.
Well, I want to, because there were some positives. There were some big
But they
positives,
went away.
but no, that right now there's still this, like, very, like, the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere didn't really go down, right? And that goes back to our, like, it's a bunch of different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the analogy I like to use is, like, if you had a trash can, right? The trash can is the atmosphere and the trash is CO2, right? Keep putting it in, keep putting in, keep putting in, keep putting in, keep putting in. Sure, if you say stop throwing away trash, you're not going to get any more trash in the trash can, but you still have all that trash in that trash can that's still accounted for,
Yeah.
right? And so not only do we have to find ways to reduce the amount of CO2 that we put in, but we got to start taking it out. And then when we take it out, then if we become very efficient at that, we can add things back to where we can balance things out. We can create a balance of the amount of CO2 we put in, the amount of CO2 we take out, kind of deal.
Yeah, and then this goes back to my we are no different than bacteria animals theory, because like we live at 98.7 degrees Fahrenheit. We can't really live at other temperatures, or we need like clothing or some sort of ways to survive that. And we're very sensitive. We need that balance, or we start dying off because the heat gets too hard, or this happens, or we get sick, or fevers and this and that. We're no different than those Yellowstone hot pots and the different colors that make up the colors of those, because if you change the temperature in them, they're going to change colors. Some of them are going to die off. Some of them are going to get sick and this and that. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a different scale, but I mean, we need to look at our world that way too, because if it goes, it goes. We go. Do you want that? I mean, no one really truly knows what's next, if there's a what's next, or what that ever may be. And
Yeah.
do you want that? Because go for it.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's complicated.
Right?
It's a complicated world. It's complicated. Everything's complicated. And, that's part of what makes life beautiful, though, as well, is its complication. Can you imagine if life was easy? It'd be boring. There's a reason why
Well,
people like the challenge of stuff. It makes it more interesting.
and yeah, no, exactly. It's what it is and who we are. Because why is there always drama? Because we need that drama, because life's too boring, so we create irrelevant things and whatnot. That's
Yeah.
just who we are. We can't be bored. We're got to be doing something, creating something somewhere. Whether it's in our mind, or physical, or emotional, or or whatever it may be, we're creating something.
Yeah, no, it's what we like to do.
Create monoliths in Utah.
You know, I think it's kind of a cool, the monolith thing I thought was cool. So,
I get it. I get why. To me, it's just like, that's not the place.
well, the thing is, I don't think the place is that bad, and I don't think the idea is that bad. Is the thing is, people really like take hold, and everyone wants their picture taken at it, which is the monolith is 100% the reason why I love that Hyperion is a secret. Because if it wasn't a secret, there'd be too many people there.
That's what I mean. Is you're doing these Instagram Grammy things that are not nature-esque in nature. You know what I mean? Like, they put it in the middle of the desert for it to be kind of like people are going out adventuring in the desert and seeing beautiful Arches National Park, or Canyon de Chelly or Monument Valley, and these cool different things. And it's like, well, let's do a man-made thing out there and attract people to come because they want to come see it. And I don't know, man.
You just got to realize that the number of likes that you get on your Instagram post or your TikTok or your Snapchat or Facebook, Twitter, whatever, it's really not that important.
Right? No, I agree. I get like 19 sometimes. I'm like, I get a little sad, but it's like, who gives a fuck? The 19 people that did it, they cared. I'm glad I shared that moment with them.
Right?
And I treat. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I mean, it's just, I think most of these people are just like, we got the picture, we're gonna put it up, we're gonna get the likes. That's the end of the story.
Yeah,
There's so much more involved in getting the picture that I think is the more memorable thing.
Well, I agree with what you're saying, because I totally treat my Instagram more as like a photo album of our trips, where it's like, here, let me show you that bear encounter. Yeah. But in the moment, I'm taking it all in and seeing it for what it is and experiencing it for what it is.
And also maybe I'm just making excuses for not getting a lot of likes right now, but
right? That works too. No, to me, it's about the story. It's about telling people the story, and doing those things with the people you care about and the people that you enjoy doing those things with. I mean, I look at, like, when you talk to your grandparents or your great grandparents or even your parents, right? You love hearing their stories about them doing this with, this cousin or that friend doing that thing, right? You hear that and you understand it and you see it, and it's like, do you really care about, someone else's story that you don't know? No. So, that's, to me, when you get into like the likes and whatnot, it's the people that are close to you that really truly matter.
Yeah.
Because you're sharing those moments with them.
No, 100%. And I'm not saying like don't go and take the picture, because the picture helps you remember the story behind it.
Oh yeah.
It's more of just like the thirst for these likes.
Oh, I know. Well, that's the problem. Is you've seen people do dumb stuff to do that, right? Like those guys in Yellowstone Park when they're running across the geyser.
Yeah.
That, to me, two of them ended up dying in another park because they were doing something dumb.
Yeah.
And and they got fined and sued and this and that because you're doing the wrong thing there. You're doing it for attention. You're doing it for you're doing it for a purpose, a selfish purpose. And that's not what these places are intended for. I mean, like, some of the most beautiful places I've been to, I have photos, but I don't share some of those photos for certain reasons, or I don't give them out there to the world. Like, like that time I took you guys up to Chief Mountain. That is a sacred spot on the Blackfeet Reservation. And, there's no sign that says right here, turn left here, turn right here, go up this creek, go up that creek.
Because I remember driving up that going like, man, did you pick the right turn?
Exactly. But, you get up top and you see this place, you're right there in the valley, and you're just like, I'm home.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's one of those places where you're just like, wow, you just sit here all day long and just watch the weather move in and move out, and just the animals, the wildlife, the prayer bundles in the trees, that sacredness. But it's like, I'm not going to share that with that many other people.
No.
And for good reason.
Yeah, no, I don't blame at all.
And that's why you don't be sticking monoliths in things, because that could, someone could do something in a place like that, and it makes it not good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there's well, I don't know the intent behind the monolith, so until we know the intent behind the monolith, for me, if it's just an art installation, it's a cool idea that was taken and drawn out of proportion in a wrong way.
Well, and that might be something to think about, because we do record these podcasts in advance. By the information we have as it comes out, feel free to message us on any of the socials, wanderingwayspodcast@gmail.com. We can have this discussion with you guys if you want. You have questions, you want to discuss it further, please let us know. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Because there'll probably be a lot more information about like these things that are happening. If you want us to look into it, we love that. We've had people message us questions here and there. Where'd you get that? How'd you see this? And if you have anything, we'll share it here on the podcast with you.
Yeah. No, and actually this is a good time to kind of forward into our final words, because we are kind of getting close to that time.
Are we really?
Yeah, we are kind of. So it's not a bad time to do it. But final words, my guy.
Oh my goodness. I have plans to go to the Lamar Valley this weekend. Hopefully see some wolves move down because of the snow. And, part of that, I think, is just like, keep finding your nature. Keep going out to it, finding it, go see your sunrise at 4 a.m. Go, see your wolves in Yellowstone, whatever that may be. Go do that.
I love it. Reverend's final words of wisdom. Stay beautiful, everybody. You guys are amazing. I cannot tell you how much I am thankful for you all listening, all sharing, doing all of it that you guys are doing. You guys heard one of the Reverend rants today, which is always exciting when you get a good old Reverend rant. That's why I am the Reverend. But anyways, final words, take care of this earth. It's special. Give a hoot, don't pollute, as Woodsy the Owl would say. I really mean that. Leave no trace type deal. Take care of it, because if you do, special things stay longer. But that being said, peace out, everybody.
Bye.